Okay, so if you have any Indian heritage, this is for you. This is your story. And it's a story that started, get this, 65,000 years ago. It's all written, letter by letter, right inside your DNA.
You know that question we all ask at some point, where do I really come from? Well, today, we're going to dive right into that. We're going to uncover the epic journeys and the incredible stories of survival that are encoded inside every single one of your cells. No, really, go ahead. Look at your hand. It feels pretty solid, right? Here and now. But the instruction manual that built it, your DNA, that's an heirloom. It's a message passed down through an unbroken chain of something like 2,600 generations, connecting you directly to the very first modern humans who ever called India home. So you're probably wondering, how on earth can we read a story that old? I mean, it sounds impossible, right? Well, the secret is in these tiny, totally harmless little changes in our DNA. Scientists use them like genetic footprints to follow our ancestors' paths across continents and through time. You see, every time DNA gets copied from a parent to a child, there's a chance a tiny little typo happens, a mutation. Now, most of the time, it's completely harmless. But here's the cool part. Once that typo is there, it gets passed down forever. By tracking these unique typos, scientists can build a massive family tree for all of humanity and see exactly how different branches formed and where they traveled. All right, so let's rewind way back to the very beginning of the story. The first chapter doesn't actually start in India. It starts in Africa with a small group of pioneers, and they took a journey that would literally change the course of human history. So picture this. About 70,000 years ago, our ancestors start moving out of Africa, probably following the coastline, what scientists call a coastal highway. And in just a few thousand years, they make it all the way to the Indian subcontinent. But, and this is super important, this was just the first wave. It wasn't a one-and-done deal. Two other major groups would arrive thousands of years later, each one adding a new distinct layer to the story. And I really want to emphasize this because it's probably the most important point we'll make. Those first people, the ones who got there 65,000 years ago, they never left. They weren't replaced. Their DNA, their legacy, is the very foundation, the bedrock of every single person with Indian roots alive today. Now, scientists have a name for this foundational group, Ancient Ancestral South Indians, or AASI for short. The easiest way to think about AASI is as the deep, original root of the Indian family tree, the starting point. It doesn't matter where your family is from in India, north, south, east, or west, you have this DNA in you, period. Okay, so for the next 55,000 years, an almost unimaginable amount of time, the descendants of these first folks spread out all over the subcontinent. But they weren't going to be alone forever. Later migrations brought new people, new technologies, and new genes, kicking off this incredible process of mixing that created the beautiful diversity we see across India today. So, this is where it all comes together. This is the recipe, basically. First, you've got AASI, right? The foundation we just talked about. Then, about 10,000 years ago, farmers arrived from the west, near modern-day Iran, and they mix with the local AASI folks. This new blend, scientists call it Ancestral South Indian, or ASI. Then, way later, around 4,000 years ago, herders from the Central Asian steppe arrive and mix with the people who are already there, and this creates the third stream, Ancestral North Indian, or ANI. So what's the big takeaway? Is that pretty much everyone is a mixture of mixtures. It's not simple, it's layered. Okay, so let's talk about that last migration, the one from the steppe, because this is where that really loaded and controversial term Aryan comes into play. And what's just amazing is how modern genetics has completely overturned these old colonial-era myths. So was there some massive Aryan invasion that conquered everyone? Nope. The science shows a gradual migration over hundreds of years. And maybe most importantly, they mixed a lot with the people who were already living there. It was a story of mixing, not a story of replacement. So, fast forward to today. What does all this mixing look like now? Well, this chart just nails the main point. Everyone in India is a mix of those same core ingredients. The only real difference is the proportion. Generally, you see more of that steppe-related, or ANI, ancestry in the north, and more of that foundational ASI and early farmer ancestry in the south. It's a gradient. We're all painted from the same palette, just with slightly different amounts of each color. Now, you might be wondering, how does this connect to something like the caste system? Well, the science is really clear here. The genetic differences didn't create the social hierarchy. It was the other way around. The social hierarchy, especially the rules about who could marry whom for thousands of years, preserved the genetic differences that were already there.
Okay, I know this is a lot. ASI, ASI, ANI, it can feel like alphabet soup, right? So let's think about it another way. Let's think about it like a symphony. Because your DNA isn't just a list of ingredients, it's a single incredible piece of music.
So your ASI ancestry, from those first Indians, that's the deep foundational melody. It's like an ancient flute, one that's been playing the main theme for a staggering 65,000 years.
Then you have your ASI ancestry, that blend with the first farmers. That's the harmony. That's the entire string section that joined in about 10,000 years ago, weaving this rich, complex sound around that ancient melody, giving it depth.
And finally, your ANI ancestry from the steppe herders. Well, that's the brass section. They arrived 4,000 years ago with this bold new theme, adding power and contrast and bringing the whole thing together into a powerful synthesis. And here's the most beautiful part of it all. You're not just one instrument. You're not just the flute or the strings or the brass. You are the entire symphony. All of it, playing together right now in you.
So at the end of the day, why does any of this matter? What's the takeaway? It matters because it means your roots in India go back 65,000 years. I mean, just think about that. It means that the idea of genetic purity is a complete myth. Everyone is mixed, we're all a blend. That so-called north-south divide, it's just a difference in proportions, not kind. And what that really means is that your DNA, this incredible story, is something that connects you with every other Indian on the planet.
Look, you are the living, breathing result of a 65,000-year story of survival, of journeys, of mixing. That entire legacy has been passed down to you. So the real question is, now that you know this, what are you going to do with this inheritance?